Hi, my name is Andres Moreno. I am from El Paso, Texas, in the United States. I am a principal software engineer for Tyler Technologies, and I'm also an AWS community builder for Serverless.
Hello, my name is Hazel Saenz. I am from Guatemala and I am a software architect at Cognix.
Hi, my name's Ian McKay. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I'm the cloud principal at Kablamo. I've been with Kablamo for about 7 years, and I'm also an AWS community hero and ambassador. I have about 13 years of industry experience, and of that, about 9 of those years with some form of cloud technology. My first job as a DevOps engineer involved providing services to a software development company in order to give them everything they needed to develop software effectively. And I spent about 4 years with them. That included things like creating servers, rack and stack on a traditional server room environment. I then spent the next year working at a traditional hosting company where I gained experience doing the very much more racking and stacking, where I managed an entire cage of servers, switches, and other bits of equipment. And that was within the data center environment. So I did learn a lot about the networking, point of presence, and things from that company. From there, I started working at a streaming service similar to Netflix, where I gained more experience using CDNs, microservices, and large scale network traffic, specifically within an AWS environment. So I learned a lot more about securing environments within the cloud and deploying workloads that really perform at scale there. And finally, I now work at Kablamo, and they are a cloud consultancy where I contribute to many different projects and consult with companies on their architectures and anything they need in order to progress their journey whilst moving from their whatever their infrastructure is into the cloud.
I've been in the software space close to 14 years now, focused in the cloud around 5 or 6 years. So I've done a little bit of everything. How I advance in my career is truly by my drive to learn, getting the job done, trying to impress people, right? It's trying to impress the upline, making sure your name is visible, presenting, showing off your work, making your work as good as possible, and protecting it from failure, right? With testing and automation. So nothing has changed from when I worked on the typical stack to cloud stack. My personality is the same. I've always tried to improve my communication, but I've always been trying to learn. Even in my .NET days, I would jump into the MVP program of Microsoft to learn, and MSDN to and view videos. And Scott Hanselman was a big person in my life because he was one of the first huge tech influencers, right? So really, it's that drive and that eagerness to keep learning and be proud of your work. That's a big thing.
In Guatemala, the community wasn't active when I started learning about cloud. I joined a user group in Chile. The girls there were really nice to me and tried to guide me in my professional life because it's not only about the technical side. That's something that I did learn with them. Why? Because, like I said, I have a lot of experience in the technical side, but in my professional and my networking, I didn't do much for over the years. But when I get the community, I get that. They show me how can I get connect with other people. I when I get into the community, I want to share what I did have learned. So I started to have session with them and I started to write articles, technical articles about it. And that technical articles that were really important, not only because I can contribute to the community, but uh, it is an important part when you are into a project, how you document everything into the project itself, the standards, the solutions, and everything. This exercise of writing a technical article was something really important for I can translate that into my project. Not only help me connecting with the community, but also to help me to grow in my career. So that's something that's important. I joined as in the community, then I reactivate the user group from Guatemala. Now we are 2,000 in there, and we recently opened the girls chapter in the community to actually start helping out the girls from Guatemala to get technical roles and learn together. That's the main goal behind a community. I also was part of the Community Builders program. In there, I met a lot of awesome person that helped me out with technical questions sometimes, and other times it just helped me to get to the right person. And that's something that is important. With the community and with these programs, I started connect with different professionals that help me out in my career, and not only into the, like I said, not the technical side, but actually to connect with different persons that can help you out in the professional world.
To build my network, I'm somewhat active on social media services like X, and I'm also in a lot of Slack workspaces. They're very helpful for learning what people are doing within the cloud. I regularly write blog posts on my experiences. I create and maintain open source software, including tools that help developers do their job. And I often participate in podcasts and presentations like this one.
I was pretty close and grew my network only within my company. So all my connections were there, and I would try to build that community within that. Until recently, when I started doing all the serverless stuff, I started growing my network outside of my company. So a lot of it has been via Twitter or X and LinkedIn. And just engaging there, there's a lot of people sharing their work, sharing what they do, sharing their learnings on these platforms. So I've been able to learn a lot from people in social media. I myself have been blogging and trying to express and share what I've learned to other people, and that has helped boost up my network and my growth there. So really, and it's funny to say, it's a social network is where I've made a lot of my connections, and more than just tech connections, I've been able to make friendships from my connections in social media and people that I get to meet at least annually at reInvent and things like that in conferences. Surprisingly, social media is a big thing, but a lot of reading, so blog posts, I've filtered my following and subscriptions to where I get the most value, and you'll get value from different people than I do based on their writing or their content, right? Maybe you do better with video than blog posts. So you'll find who produces the content that you like the most and helps you the most. Newsletters are a good way to get a consolidated list of the weekly articles and blog posts and videos that highlight during the week. Keeping up with new announcements, right? So if you're using AWS, I would go to the AWS newsfeed.
Keeping up with the cloud can be challenging. I personally combine the news I see on those social media networks as well as feeds from the AWS blogs, of which there are many, in order to give myself a bit of an understanding about what's going on in the cloud and what's new and what might I be looking at. That often is as simple as looking at the title of a blog post and saying, that's not really for me, or I might be very interested in something specific and dig deeper at that point.
Do I have any certification? I do. I do have certifications. I have 5 Scrum certifications that helps me out to understand what the roles in an agile methodology that needs to be followed, and helps me out to be a team player in that. I also have a DevOps certification. With this certification, it really helped me out to actually design the CI/CD processes and to select the right tools to monitoring and to create infrastructure as code. And another certification that I do have is I have 3 certification of AWS the cloud practitioner, the solution architect associate, and the developer associate certifications. That's the one that really helped me out into this position. It's not going to be the last one that I get, but it's the ones that I have today. So it is really important to you to get it, because we want it or not, the resume is the first thing that the employers will see about you, and if you have it, it's really helping in there. If you have the knowledge and you have the certification, you are all set to go.
My AWS certifications are Cloud Practitioner, Solution Architect Associate, SysOps Associate, DevOps Pro, Solution Architect Pro, and Security Specialty. To attain those exams, I highly recommend using third-party services like A Cloud Guru or especially Wiz Labs to help me do those exams. Sometimes you get very strange questions, and doing those practice exams are really what help me make those certifications. And of course, experience helps too.
So I only have the cloud practitioner. I haven't really focused on growing my certification portfolio. I do have the path to them, but I haven't wrapped up to get to like the solutions architect and all those. A lot of it is courses, right? So it depends on how you like to learn, right? So if there's paths where there's a lot of reading content for this type of learning. I'm more of a video kind of person, so you can do like Coursera, Udemy, Cloud Academy. There's a lot of ways you can learn, and just focusing on setting a date first. That's very important, because if you don't set the date, you're never going to get it done. But setting the date and then planning these courses, which usually have a highlight on, hey, this is going to take 72 hours. This is going to take 80 hours. This is going to take 200 hours, right? So that helps you plan accordingly on, hey, I'm going to do 2 hours daily, 5 hours weekly, or something like that, so you can achieve your goals with that.